Morning and welcome to Little by Little, a short time in God's Word. Today, January 30th, we move into Job chapter 38, where God is going to begin to speak to Job. And very quickly, we get an impression here of God, who's been listening into all of this and seeing Job's heart and his questions and the friends and how they've portrayed things. And so, verse 2, who is it that darkens counsel by words without knowledge? Dress for action like a man. I will question you, and you make it known to me. Right? I've got time. I'm going to give you a little test here, Job. Where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Right? Really, you could just stop there. You're like, oh, yeah. One of the things that our culture does outside of the church, outside of Christ, is remove any sense of a creator, right? And so once you remove a creator from the creation, you're the master of your own fate, right? You become the higher power. You become the one that you need to guard against and protect and do everything for, and you're, maybe it's karma or maybe it's bad luck or whatever else is out there, but if your belief is such that there's no one else, right, then the buck stops with you. And so you do have statements then like, well, if it doesn't hurt anybody else, if it makes me happy, I deserve it, right? But as God says to Job, where were you when I laid the foundation of the earth? Tell me if you have understanding. Like, do you have a clue? No. Because what that does is springs us back and forward, right? Back to the beginning. There's a creator who's done all this, who's created all it needs. He's far beyond us, far above us. And he's in control of all things. And so he's going to continue on about the measurements and the seas and commanding the morning and all of these things. And he keeps asking Job, like, do you know? Tell me about it, right? And Job's got no good answer here. Like, it's almost comical if it wasn't so tragic. Why? We get to just read about it. This was Job's life. And so as I read through this, it like there's this groundswell of like excitement, right? Because God is declaring, God is speaking, and that's what we want. That's what Job's been asking for, is God to speak. And yet it doesn't always sound like we think it's going to sound. It doesn't always look like we want it to look. But what should it do in and for our lives? Well, it's going to do what happens in Job. Look at chapter 40. Job answered the Lord, verse 3. Behold, I am of small account. What shall I answer you? I lay my hand on my mouth. I have spoken once. I will not answer twice, but I will proceed no further. Like, I don't think I should say anything. Yeah. In other words, we should accept. We should trust. If God knows about the ox and the ostrich and, the fox and the horse and, all of these things and the lightning and, all of this, maybe we should not worry. Maybe there will be things that don't get explained to us. But if we stop having a self-centric view of this world and view life through that lens, rather than the lens of ourselves, view it through the lens that there's a God who's over all. His ways are higher than my ways. His thoughts are higher than my thoughts. The complexity of who he is dwarfs anything that I have understanding of. And so when there are things that I don't understand, I'm going to lean on what I do understand. Right? And what do I understand? I understand that he's God, that I'm not. That he's in control. Nothing takes him by surprise. I'm going to keep trusting him. Even if I don't have it all figured out, even if I'm frustrated with him, he's not put off by that. But I am going to trust. Until next time, keep growing little by little.